Come on. We will win. Because we will hit all game. We are motivated. We are dedicated. Come on now. Come on now. We will win. Because we are the best on the field. And we hit the field like all day light, all night light, on the blue light, offense light, defense light, his squad light, house call light, and it sound light, and it sound light, and it sound light.
Yeah.
It's official. It's official. It's official.
Combine season is upon us.
I'ma do this here forever.
EQ.
Forever.
Triune.
Forever.
Yeah.
Forever. I'ma do this here forever. All you haters better be gone. This the day you've been waiting on your.
Welcome to the Short Sports Show. I am your host, Daniel Short. Today is Wednesday, March 30th, 2016, and we got a great show for you guys. I'm excited. I actually had a story that I was going to tell you, and I thought of it all yesterday during work. I was like, all right, I got this. It's going to be funny. Way to open the show. Perfect. Bam. I wake up this morning. I fix a few things on the show. I tweak it a little bit, and then I completely forget my story. And guess what? Guess what's going to happen? I am going to remember it as soon as the show is over, and I'm going to think, wow, I forgot, and I could have added it. So there's that. There's just so you guys know, I was thinking about you, and I was thinking about saying something funny, and I forgot. You know, just how it works. But anyways. We got a ton of news to talk about. We got college football news finally after it's been very, very slow. Obviously, the NFL, some NBA news, and we're going to talk the Final Four. Woo, about that Final Four. I'm at work. We did our own brackets. We all, about, I would say at least 10, I feel like maybe 12 people did a bracket at work. And after Michigan State went down, I had picked them to win it all. I truly thought I was out. I'm done. Oh well. I wanted to win at work, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen this year. Well, surprise, surprise. After a few things have now happened, a few other people's choices and picks, and I am in second place right now, but I can take the lead. So check this out. So we've got a three-way, a four. Okay, not a three-way. Chill, people. A 4-people race, but it's quickly going to turn into 3 and eventually go to 1. So this is how it works. Now there's one guy that's in front of me. He's got 770 points. I have 740, and the guy behind me has 700. I'm gonna tell you how the fourth person gets in. I don't know how many points he's got, but he could jump in the race pretty quickly. So the person in front of me who has 770, he's out. All his teams are out. I still have Oklahoma left. That's it. I only have Oklahoma, but I have them losing in the championship game, so I can only get the points. The only points I can get is them beating Villanova in the Final Four. So here we go. This is how I win. Oklahoma wins in the Final Four, loses in the championship. That's how I win, basically. The other guy in front of me, again, he's all out, so he could be out. The guy behind me who has 700 points, he has North Carolina losing in the championship game and Oklahoma losing in the Final Four. So he has North Carolina winning in the Final Four. So he needs North Carolina to win in the first round and Oklahoma to lose in the Final Four. Because if Oklahoma wins, then I have those points and I'll be above him unless he goes to the championship and depending on how those points. Then there's another guy who has North Carolina winning it all. So he just needs North Carolina to win it all and potentially maybe Oklahoma losing as well. And he wins. Very crazy, especially when you're just hearing this over your phone or whatever you're listening to. You're not, right, unless you wrote it down. If you wrote it down, go back and write it down. Maybe it's a lot easier to understand. I might have just put it in really bad way. But basic thing is we don't care about them. We care about me. No, I'm just joking. I just need Oklahoma to win and North Carolina to lose in the Final Four, and I'm the winner. I'm the winner. There's no one behind me other than the people who have North Carolina and Syracuse. I'm hoping you guys win. No one gave you a chance. No one thought Syracuse should have even been in the bracket. And guess what? They're in the bracket. They're in the Final Four, and they have a chance to go to the national championship game. We'll talk about that later. But the intro you guys heard about 4 minutes ago was from Triune featuring EQ. That is their song Forever. You can buy it on iTunes right now. Check it out. Their links are in the description down below. They also have a new song, Game Winner, that came out a couple weeks ago. Very good song. We'll probably do it when we do a championship preview for the national championship in basketball, as well as the playoffs for the NBA. It's an awesome song. Go check it out. Again, their links are in the description down below. And let's go ahead and talk about some college football news first, as always. And some exciting news, but it's spring. And guess what happens in spring? There's a few practices, but there's a bunch of talk. Is this just talk? Now, new Michigan Athletic Director Ward Manuel said he would be open to discussing future matchups with the Notre Dame Fighting Irish in football. Now, the two, they haven't played each other since 2014. Decided to part ways. They said Notre Dame, wanted to schedule more teams in the ACC, and we don't got time for Michigan anymore. Michigan's like, all right, cool. So Manuel said, quote, if there are any opportunities in the future to bring the rivalry on the football field back, obviously I'd be open to having that conversation. It's not only a great fit for Michigan and Notre Dame football, it's not great for Michigan and Notre Dame football. I think it's great for college football for that rivalry to continue at some point in the future. We'll see how that goes. And I'm on board. I want to see the Michigan-Notre Dame. It was a fun rivalry. I think every rivalry should be played, especially something that's that historic. Notre Dame, Michigan. Notre Dame, Ohio State. Michigan, Ohio State. I mean, obviously in their conference, but I'm saying they play. Texas A&M. They can get over the egos. They need to play. Auburn, Alabama, they play. All these big-time rivals. Imagine having them all in 1 week like this, or even if you want to spread them out, who cares? They're great matchups. Oklahoma, Nebraska, if that can happen again. I actually think they're playing sometime soon. Those things. Awesome matchups I want to see. And hopefully we can see a Notre Dame in Michigan. Now, Manuel said he hasn't looked at the timeline in detail, but he said he isn't concerned about the future schedules and saying that they're not cemented enough, that he can make a move if Notre Dame's willing to make a move as well. He said that his schedule, he's, quote, I've been involved in scheduling football for almost 2 decades now, and you can always try to find ways to put things together. I don't know when the timeline would be, but I'm not worried that we're out significantly, end quote. He's saying, look, if I got a mini game against like Western Michigan or some other just little small school, I will move it. I will take it out, and if I got to pay them, I'll pay them still, as long as Notre Dame and Michigan get back at it. Now, former Michigan athletic director back in 2013, Dave Brandon, he said that, quote, it'll be a long time before those two schools would play again. Who knows? Now, Notre Dame head coach Brian Kelly, I always want to say Chip Kelly, he said last September that he thought about the possibility of the series returning, quote, was trending up. So there's still a good shot. Still a good shot we can get this done. And I think it'd be great for college football. Michigan fans would love it. Notre Dame fans would love it. College football fans in general, we would love it. We love rivalries. It's crazy. It's exciting. And Michigan Notre Dame was fun, especially the game when they had it at night for the first time ever, the under the lights thing that they did. That was awesome. Great game. Bring it back. Bring it back. Especially we got Jim Harbaugh versus Brian Kelly. That's a matchup we like to see. Some sad news, though, over the weekend was Auburn's first African-American scholarship football player, James Owens, died battling heart problems. He was only 65 years old. Now, he played for the Tigers from 1970 to 72 as a fullback, and Auburn even created the James Owens Courage Award in 2012 to honor current or former players who have persevered through adversity. Tigers coach Gus Malzahn said Owens was a trailblazer who, quote, changed Auburn for the better and opened doors for countless young men and women, end quote. So definitely prayers go out to his family. And huge loss for the Auburn Tigers. And hopefully, we'll see something, another award for him, another commemorative to him for commemorative. That's not even a word. Y'all know what I meant. Now we have, if I can write this down, I'm doing a bad time. I got this little remote for my camera. I won't have to record the whole show and waste battery and go through it. I can just press a button and bam, works on it. But I got to sync it up, so I got to write down the time. Y'all didn't care. Anyways. 5-star Mississippi State signee apologizes after a video showing him hitting a woman surfaced all over Twitter, all over Facebook. And Mississippi State football, that is Jeffery Simmons, he's now facing charges after an incident last week. Now, WCBI TV in Mississippi released a video Saturday that purports to show 5-star 2016 defensive end Jeffery Simmons repeatedly striking a female while she's on the ground. Now, viewers on YouTube, viewer discretion is advised to watch this video. I will show just part of it because after that, it's just a lot of walking around and people just instigating and also just not doing anything. So viewer discretion is advised for people on YouTube watching. Please let you know. Now, he made not really a statement, but he went on Facebook and wrote this huge, about a couple paragraphs, saying that I take full responsibility for my actions that occurred on Thursday evening, quote. Now, for most things, when they get caught with weed or maybe they drink or something, usually we'll see a statement saying, I'm sorry, I take responsibility for my actions. It was a stupid decision. Now, when you're caught. It's not allegedly. I mean, he hit the woman on the ground a couple of times. When you do that, it's not something you just say, hey, I take full responsibility. I'm sorry. It won't happen again. This is a much more serious case than you getting caught with weed or drinking. That's just how it is. He was the only 5-star member of the 2016 recruiting class, so he's already signed. He's already signed his letter of intent. He signed everything that he will be there this fall. Now, Mason Police Chief Lucius Mason said that Simmons and Sophia Taylor, who was another woman who was hitting, and 3 others were cited with a misdemeanor for disturbing the peace by fighting on Monday. Quote, we're charging everyone who was fighting. They will all be served with a citation and they'll all go in front of a judge, end quote. Now, Mississippi State spokesman said the school was aware of the allegations and was gathering information about the incident. My question is, and this is not just to attack Jeffery Simmons, obviously made a stupid mistake, but now the SEC and the Pac-12, they have already created a rule that I'm surprised more conferences haven't picked up, and that denies any student athlete, no matter what sport, allowed to transfer into the conference who has any history of violence, sexual assault, anything along those lines. They cannot transfer into any of those conference programs. Any student athlete, they cannot if they have that. My thing is, should athletes have their scholarship removed with something like this when they are found guilty and caught? I mean, this video, it's, again, I know it says alleged and they have to say it, but the video clearly shows him punching the woman multiple times on the ground. Now, they said it was because Simmons claimed that the woman he was hitting, had spoken terribly about an of a deceased family member, And so that's what sparked the whole fight. They were talking about each other's family and something happened. Apparently, they've already not liked each other for a long time. Does that give him any excuse to hit her? No. And honestly, when you hold to such a high standard, 5-star recruit, football player, big-time guy, he chose Mississippi State over Alabama and in-state rival Ole Miss. That's when he pulls his family member who was trying to fight the lady, whether his mom or whoever it was, pushes her and say, hey, we need to go inside. We got to leave. And there should have been other people there as well saying, hey, we know who you are. It's not like you're just a neighbor. We know, hey, our neighbor is a 5-star. Remember, he's going to go play for Mississippi State football. we need to get him out of this situation because this can hurt him. No, instead, multiple people are instigating the whole thing or just standing there recording like idiots and, just watching it all go down. But, no excuse for him. He still made the mistake. He stayed there. He didn't get away from the situation. He didn't pull his family away from the situation. He instead decided to hit the woman on the ground. My thing is, should athletes, if they're already, they cannot transfer into the SEC, into the Pac-12, should freshmen, entering freshmen, have their scholarship removed because of violence records? I mean, if we're going to set a standard or be serious about violence and all this other stuff, why are we saying, okay, hey, he was a freshman, so it doesn't fall under our rules. We don't have a rule for it. Come on in. We'll just make you run when you get here. It's not right. It's not right. So, I think, yes, student athletes should have their scholarships removed if they're in a situation just like this. That is what should happen. Let me know in the comment section down below if you believe that should happen as well. Should they create a rule where entering freshmen can and would have their scholarship removed with a violence record like this that is recent? I'm not saying, they did something their freshman, sophomore year, or even their junior year, but I'm saying entering freshmen that year, when they're about to enter, then they should have their scholarship removed for things like this, specifically like this to Jeffery Simmons for what he did. Let me know in the comment section down below. All right. So we got that done. I just want to make sure that was all recorded on there. Anyway, so I think that's fair. I mean, given that everything that happens like that, you made a mistake, and it was a bad one. It was a bad one. According to a report from the Boston Globe, Boston College has turned down an offer from the Boston Red Sox to play their November 19th game against UConn at Fenway Park. Now, while there were ticket allocation concerns for last year's game against Notre Dame at the baseball park, that wouldn't be the case this year, as BC would have served as the home team. The athletic department's decision to reject the MLB's club overturns came down to a simple fact that, in part because they have already scheduled a home game in Ireland, they only have 6 home games in 2016, and the university doesn't want to go below that mark. They want to make sure they have at least 6 at their actual stadium. Their Red Sox president said, "Hey, that's fine. We understand. We're open to if you change your mind this year or for any time in the future," which is good because I thought it was nice. Some people criticized it, saying it shouldn't be played in that stadium, that they didn't like it. If you saw most of the photos or you actually watched the game, great scenery. I'm sure it would have been even a better experience out there. I would have loved to watch it, and I think when I did watch the game here, obviously away on TV, I thought it was great. I thought it looked awesome. And I don't think it takes anything away from the game, whether for baseball or for football. I think it looks nice, and I think, hopefully they can do it again sometime soon. Saturday afternoon, USC, the Trojans, confirmed that defensive tackle Kenny Bigelow suffered a torn ACL during this practice past Thursday. First-year head coach Clay Helton described the injury as a, quote, freak accident. According to the school, defensive tackle will undergo surgery and be sidelined for a period of 7 to 9 months, which means he is out for the 2016 season. And he's already redshirted, so unless he can get a medical redshirt, which looks like it is possible for him, he might be able to save a year. But if not, he would then be a redshirt senior next year, as he's a redshirt junior right now. In 2014, he sustained a torn ACL to the same right knee that kept him out of all that season. But we'll just have to see. As a backup redshirt sophomore lineman in 2015, Bigelow played in all 13 games and was credited for 3 sacks. And the staff was hoping that he could take the lead this year and start big time for them. Sadly, that will not happen. Now, some interesting news, and the last thing we'll talk about here for college football is Clemson head coach Dabo Swinney made it clear that he's not expecting his star quarterback, Deshaun Watson, to be in a Clemson uniform next spring, saying, quote, I really want to challenge the crowd of fans to show up. It's going to be the last time to see Deshaun Watson, most likely, in a spring game, end quote. I think we all kind of knew that. I mean, obviously, there was speculation towards the end of last season, and they were already trying to get talks to him. Hey, is next year going to be the last year after they just lost the national championship? It's like, one, it's not the time to ask it, and two, yeah, probably if he has the same exact year. I mean, given the hype that he had entering college, freshman year, obviously had the torn ACL, but did pretty good while he played. And then last year, really good. This year, if he just has somewhat the same performance, yeah, most likely he's going to go to the NFL. I think it's kind of given. Now, he finished obviously third in the Heisman balloting last season and led Clemson to the national championship, but he didn't talk about the NFL publicly. All he did say, though, is that him and Sweeney have talked multiple occasions, of course, on his career path, and that Deshaun Watson is going to graduate a year early. He wanted to graduate. He's got it. And, you know, kind of move on from there. This is what Dabo Sweeney said, quote, we talk all the time. Deshaun came in here with a plan. He's going to graduate in 3 years. That's what he's doing. It's great when you have focused people like that, end quote. Now, Sweeney, he also discussed the potential of early departures of receiver Octavius Scott and running back Wayne Gallman, who will both be juniors next season and are expected to graduate by December. So multiple players. This is good for Dabo Sweeney. It's huge for recruiting, if you think about it. Saying, hey, I can still get you to graduate in 3 years. Get your degree, which is very important to maybe not you, but your family, your parents. They all want you to get that degree. And if it is very important to you, I can get that for you. We can get that for you. We have a plan where you will graduate in 3 years. And if your success that's off the field matches what you can do on the field, and you can make it to the NFL draft like that, hey, you can leave after your junior year. Perfect. Huge for recruiting, saying you could go for the NFL draft and you don't have to sacrifice not getting your degree. We got you. I probably should have just said that from the beginning. That was a lot quicker and a lot simpler. Now, he had 5 underclassmen from last year's Tigers team declare for the draft. And Sweeney said he doesn't think that Watson has that much to prove have left to prove. Quote, there's a lot of teams that would have liked to have him this year. His game translates to wherever. You could play football on Mars. He'll translate there. He's unbelievable. Dabo Sweeney, guys. In 2 years at Clemson, Watson has 6,875 total yards, 66 touchdowns, and is 18-2 as a starter. Woo! That is awesome. Yeah, it's going to be fun to watch him this year and see what he can do. Pretty solid schedule, but again, he's got some guys returning up front. Defensively, well, they lost guys the year before, and they did pretty well. They had a couple. They're going to have probably a couple first rounders this year. So we'll just have to see how they reproduce, basically. The Oakland Coliseum has approved a new lease extension for the Oakland Raiders that more than triples the team's rent to use the stadium and its training facility. Guys, it went from $925,000 last season they had to pay for it to now $3.5 million. That is ridiculous. That is ridiculous. It includes an option for Oakland to play the 2 additional seasons and opens the door for a long-term stadium plan in Oakland, which they're trying to work out. The Chargers, we'll talk about them. They just released something that we'll talk about their stadium. But $3.5 million. Woo, it's expensive. The Atlanta Falcons have agreed to contract terms with former Baltimore Ravens outside linebacker Courtney Upshaw. They announced on Friday evening. Now, Upshaw finished with 5 sacks in 4 seasons and went a stretch of 36 games without recording a full sack. So it makes you question, look, Falcons, y'all need some linebackers to pass rush. You had, not Sheffield. There was somebody else they signed last year. He didn't perform up to par what they needed. And now you bring up Upshaw. Can he be the guy? Who knows? Now, Atlanta, they've been pretty heavy on a free agency. They signed Alex Mack from the Cleveland Browns, wide receiver Mohamed Sanu from the Cincinnati Bengals, Matt Schaub from the Ravens, and defensive lineman Derek Shelby from the Miami Dolphins. The Falcons also, they re-signed linebacker Sean Weatherspoon, which is good for them, another linebacker depth. But, man, just nothing against Courtney Upshaw, of course, but I don't know. The Arizona Cardinals starting free safety Rashad Johnson, he agreed to a one-year deal with the Tennessee Titans. In the second season as a Cardinals starter, Johnson, despite missing 2 games with an ankle injury, tied for the team lead with 5 interceptions, giving him 9 over the past 2 seasons. He also tied for 5th on the team with 61 tackles in 2015. Some other signings, we'll just go through a couple of them. The Saints have signed former Rams and Lions defensive tackle Nick Fairley to a 1-year deal. Did pretty well past 2 years in 2012 and 2013 with the Lions with 11.5 sacks, but last season in 2015 last season, he only had half a sack with the Rams and just was a complete waste of money. Former Rams tight end Jared Cook, he's going to sign with the Green Bay, or has signed with the Green Bay Packers. He signed a 5-year deal, $35 million with the Rams as a free agent in 2013. But he was cut along with, James Laurinaitis, Chris Long, when they had that huge cut. So he is now off to the Green Bay Packers. Should help Aaron Rodgers, give him another target. And I like it. I think Jared Cook still has something to play, but he had an $8.3 million cap hit for the Rams if they would have kept him. So, they said, well, we're going to go younger here. Veteran safety Hussein Abdullah announced this, a couple mornings ago, that on his Instagram page that he's hanging it up after 7 seasons. Now, he played for both the Vikings and the Chiefs, but mainly for the Chiefs. He said thanks, but, quote, numerous deciding factors in my decision with personal health being foremost. Sitting for 5 weeks last year after suffering the 5th concussion of my career, I had a lot to contemplate. My goals moving forward are to be benefit to my family, my community, my country, and hopefully the world. Having a sound mind will be vital in accomplishing these goals. So after 7 years, he's hanging it up. And obviously when you have 5 already, saying, hey, look, I'm finishing up. He sounds already smart. I'm sure he saved his money. I'm sure he put in the right areas where it needed to be for him to be successful with his family and, moving on from football, which is really good for him. And I hope the best for him as well. Some cool little bit of news here. Now, Ed Reed's NFL coaching career began just about 2 months when his longtime coach, Rex Ryan, called Reed and helped him convince him and his son to join the Buffalo Bills coaching staff as an assistant defensive backs coach. Ryan believes Reed has what it takes to become a head coach quickly, apparently. He said, quote, when we had him his last year with the Jets, he was pied the piper. I don't know what that means. They all followed him and they all learned the game. And that's why I know he's going to be a great coach. I would not be shocked if Ed Reed ends up being a head coach within 5 years. That's how quick this dude is going to rise. Teaching guys how to study tape, how to get things, playing the game, end quote. It seemed a little bit of a reach there. Nothing against Ed Reed. Obviously, a very smart player from his time in high school to college in Miami, all the way to the Baltimore Ravens, following with the Jets and some with the Texans. Smart player, Hall of Fame safety. We all know that. How quickly he picks up the coaching and does other things. I believe he's going to be a really good coach. I think he could be an excellent defensive backs coach, cornerback, safety coach. Are we looking at a defensive coordinator or a head coach? I think it's wrong to put that much pressure on him already, saying, "Hey, I expect you, or I believe you can be a defensive a head coach within 5 years." I think it's a little too much, but I believe yes, he does have a chance to be a really great defensive backs coach, knowing the game, knowing how the mistakes he made, the things that he did right, and what to do from there. I think he can make anybody a great DB. Man, it's a little too much, I think, too quickly to say, hey, I think he could be a head coach within 5 years. We'll see. The Bengals, they've signed former Browns linebacker Karlos Dansby. Now, Dansby signed a 4-year, $24 million deal back in 2014. But the Browns, and you know, he did great for the Browns. I mean, you really think about it, people think, oh, why would anybody sign Karlos Dansby? You know, he's kind of just washed up now. I want to watch out what you said. He's 34 years old now, but at 33, he played pretty well. He had 93 tackles in 2014, despite missing 4 games with a knee injury. In 2015, he had a team-leading 108 tackles while adding, he was covering tight ends. He was being the guy that helped call the plays. He returned 2 interceptions for touchdowns last season, which also led the Browns in tackles for loss, interceptions, and defensive touchdowns. He was second in passes defended. And he's a linebacker. He's not a safety. He's not a DB where all the balls are thrown their way. Second in passes defended. Dansby is looking to become, he's 1 interception away in his career from being the 5th linebacker in NFL history to have 40 sacks and 20 interceptions. So I hope he can get it with the Bengals, and it'd be even funnier if it's against the Browns, which, depending on who their quarterback is and how bad that offense is going to be, he's got a really good shot to, he's got 2 chances at trying to get 1 more interception against his former team, and I think he's going to try very, very hard to do it then. Obviously, he wants to do it sooner, but, he's saving a little bit of something for that game. Defensive back Jalen Ramsey wants the Titans to know that I'm the best player in the draft, and hey, I'm right there with you, buddy. I believe you. This is what he had to say.
You hear mixed things. I meet with teams. I met with teams at the combine and things like that. But, I'm just controlling everything that I can control. I'm doing what I can do. Showing them what I can do, corner, safety, nickel. No matter what, I killed the combine. I'm just showing them everything that I can show them, making sure I don't have any, negative marks on my end. I feel like I did great. I was able to stand on my combine performance and just focus solely on doing my position drills, and I felt like I accomplished a lot. They put me through some corner drills and some safety drills. I feel like I did well in both of them. I caught the ball well, and I moved around well, had good hips and good feet. So I feel like I did everything in my control right now.
Now, the 6'1", 209-pound Ramsey certainly proved himself as one of the best players in the country during his 3-year career with the Seminoles. There's no doubt about it. He was a 3-time All-American, broke up 23 passes, forced 3 fumbles, intercepted 3 passes, and recorded 5 sacks. Now, he's able to play quarterback, safety, nickel, edge rusher if you want to. He's played them all, and he's done them pretty darn well. That makes him pretty valuable. Quote, everybody talked about how these offenses and how you stop the big receiver, little receiver, the big tight end. He can play all the positions. He can play the corner. He can match the big receiver. He can play the field corner and back off. He can play a little guy. He can play a tight end. He can tackle. He can play out of the backfield. That is what head coach Jimbo Fisher said. He also went on to say, and he's a great blitzer. You're talking about a guy who is a tremendous blitzer off the edge. And the way the game is played now on defense, you can't find enough of those guys, end quote. Now, I've watched, of course, I've done my own little study, and I've done my own research and scouting. I wouldn't go and say he's a great blitzer because, they did blitz him a lot, especially, I believe, not last season, but the year before. They blitzed him a ton. A ton. They really did. Last season, they did somewhat at the same thing, kind of played them back a little bit more because it's not a whole lot of depth at their defense back. But I wouldn't go say he's a great blitzer. He locked into that one guy, and it was really hard for him to get off the one guy unless he just the other guy was just a smaller dude. He couldn't really get off the first block, no matter what the position was. But other than that, can he play all the other positions? Corner, safety, nickel, wherever you want to put him, left side, right side, middle? Absolutely. He can play it all, and that's what makes him so great. Now, Ramsey, he didn't participate in any agility drills or run the 40 on Tuesday. He said that he's going to rely on his NFL Combine results, which he blown away, so it made sense. But obviously, he did do some defensive back drills. He said his performance should only reinforce his argument to be the number 1 draft pick. And while I believe he is the best player, and I think he's number 1, I hope he's not number 1. I hope he doesn't go to the Titans. I hope he doesn't go to the Browns. I'm hoping he goes to my San Diego Chargers. That's where I want Jalen Ramsey because he's a boss. And I want to lose if the Chargers can't get Tunsil or Ramsey. If we're out of both of those players in the third pick, then I think it's best we trade down. Joey Bosa, he doesn't fit our scheme. I know everybody's saying he's good. If he doesn't fit your scheme, it's not going to work, especially with these coaches who are very arrogant and won't change their ways. We don't want Joey Bosa. Miles Jack, I'm still not sold on him. I think he's just too thin at the linebacker spot. And honestly, we don't really need a linebacker that early. There's not a big-time offensive lineman that could, after Tunsil, that we couldn't get later in rounds. DeForest Buckner, I think he's just another Deion Jones, just a big, tall guy, and that's it. They said Deion Jones was going to be pretty good, and he's a bust. DeForest Buckner, big, tall guy. And I'm not just saying just because they're both defensive ends at Oregon. It's just they remind me a lot the same. And it partially might be that, but they were both 6'6" guys, 6'7", whatever. Not a whole lot of stuff to show. That's really it. To get a third overall pick, you might as well just trade, get as many bulk picks as you can, and just build up from that. If we can't get Tunsil or Ramsey. Sorry, little Chargers rant. But for other Chargers fans that want to hear something, that's some somewhat good news. Who knows? Now, just last night, the Chargers officials believe they can build a new football program in downtown San Diego, replacing Qualcomm Stadium by, not 2017, not 2018, not 2019, not even 2020, by 2022. Really? According to the report by ABC 10 News in San Diego, the stadium would be I can't even talk. Be owned by a new joint powers authority, which would be created to run the stadium and all non-football entertainment events, including concerts, the report said. ABC 10 News continued to say that it was a proposed 65,000-seat downtown stadium would call for the Chargers to apply $650 million in private funding toward the new venue, which included the $300 million contribution from the NFL. The team's proposal to build a football stadium downtown with an expanded bayfront convention center would clash with Mayor Kevin Faulconer and the San Diego County Supervisor Ron Roberts, who backed the stadium in Mission Valley site of the Chargers' current home. Basically, before we just get on to more boring stuff, if the ballot measure for the new stadium fails, which I'm still hoping for, the Chargers could join the Los Angeles Rams in the stadium in Inglewood, scheduled to open in 2019. They can still do it. In January, the NFL owners rejected the Chargers' proposal to move with division rival Oakland Raiders to the new stadium in Carson. But they gave the Chargers a one-year option to join the Rams in Inglewood. Now, the Chargers, they said they agreed in principle to join the Rams to go to L.A., but Chargers chairman Dean Spanos said after the setback with the team, that the team would remain in San Diego through at least 2016 in an attempt to get a new stadium. So if this does not pass, which again they're looking for this November to vote for people to vote, then in 2019 they're going to get ready to go ahead and move to Los Angeles. That is what I want. That's what I'm hoping for. Because this should really get the year 2022. That's ridiculous. That's too long. That's too long to still be sitting in Qualcomm Stadium. And you can't, obviously I just want to get this thrown out there in case anybody was dumb enough to think, they can't just move to Los Angeles in 2019 and, stadium's built in 2022, let's go back to San Diego. They're not doing that. And I know that's a stupid thing, but I just want to make sure that is clear from everybody's mind. The way they're going to get the rest of the money and by getting it is they're trying to increase the hotel room taxes. People got to say yes to that. They think it's going to be a huge vote for that. They're going to say, yeah, they will increase it. Who knows? Voting can go so many different ways, obviously. So again, if the ballot measure fails for the San Diego Chargers in this November election, then the Chargers would then be forced basically to say, all right, well, we did. We had an 100 plus page document ready for you guys. Go through it and accept it. City said no. People said no. We're off to Los Angeles to join the Rams in 2019. Deuces. I'm out. See, actually, it might even be sooner. Oh, sorry. Just got a report on the Chargers on my phone. It's the same thing we're already talking about. It might be even sooner. The Chargers, they say if it says no, then 2016 might be their last year. They'll go play in the Coliseum with the Rams in 2017 and 2018, and then 2019 go ahead and move up to the new stadium in Inglewood. We'll just have to see. I hope that's what happens. I want to call the Chargers LA Chargers. I would like that. We'll have to see. Off to the NBA news. I know it was pretty quick on the NFL, not a whole lot. Of course, probably news will happen after the show. Rajon Rondo, who played for the Mavericks last season and clashed with coach Rick Carlisle, had no pity Sunday for his former team possibly missing the playoffs. He straight up called them out, said, quote, "Yeah, I want them to get their plane ticket as soon as we get ours." That was after Rondo had 11 points and 11 assists in the Kings' 133-111 win over some other team that happened a couple days ago, I believe on Sunday. So and went on to say, so anytime we can help, that's what I try to do to get these guys, his teammates, to focus on, end quote. The Mavericks are now, I believe, I have it on something. I think they're like 36-38, maybe, who have dropped multiple games, a stretch of games that has just been bad for them. They've been falling apart. The Kings, they're 6.5 games behind just 8th place. I mean, they're bad. So they're not going to get in it too. So Rondo said, quote, "If we're not going to make the playoffs, then let's help some of these guys go home with us." I like it. That's tough right there. That's tough words from Rajon Rondo going against his Mavericks saying, "Hey, we're going to beat you then." And he didn't like them. They don't like him. I like the fire. And he's saying, "Hey, Mavericks, you ain't the only team. Any other team that's trying to fight for a position, if we're going home, we're going to help you go home too." And I like it. I wish Rondo was with the Lakers, man, because we need a whole lot of help. We're going to talk about them in a minute. Well, I guess we'll just jump to it right now. Breaks my heart right here having to talk about this. So just yesterday, on Tuesday evening, this came out. Sources told ESPN.com that some teammates' trust in LA Lakers rookie D'Angelo Russell is now eroding after a video surfaced in the past week that shows Russell recording a private conversation between himself and teammate Nick Young. Young doesn't appear to realize he was being videotaped until afterwards. Now, I don't know in California what the law is, but I know here in the state of Texas that only one person has to know that a conversation is being recorded, and that could be yourself, the one who's recording the conversation. In some states, legally, if you're going to record something, both parties or multiple parties have to know it is being recorded and that they are being recorded and have to approve of it, or else you cannot record. And yeah, you could go to jail or get a fine for recording the conversation that they did not know was being recorded. I'm guessing in California, because no one else has brought it up, I'm guessing the other party doesn't have to know, just like here in the state, in the great state of Texas. But I just thought I'd throw it out there because, had this been in some other state where, again, the other party has to know, Russell could be getting in a whole lot of trouble here. But I'm guessing not, so we'll throw it out the window. Now, the video, which is believed to have come to light last week via Twitter account on a celebrity gossip site, whatever, shows Russell filming Nick Young while asking questions about Young being with another woman. Now, in case people haven't stayed up with it or just don't care, which I don't care, but I've heard about it. Nick Young, he's engaged to Iggy Azalea last summer. He got engaged with her, who is they say she's an Australian rapper, but she's Australian, but she's in America rapping, singing, whatever. Now, anyways, while it's unclear how it became public or why it did, I guess we all know why. Money, yeah. Now, a lot of people are saying that the tension in the locker room and against these players is what kind of showed up when the Lakers didn't show up. And that was against the Utah Jazz. When they lost to the Utah Jazz, ladies and gentlemen, they're not the greatest team of all time, especially not this season. They lost, the Lakers lost 48 points. 48 freaking points to the Jazz. Had it been the Warriors, I would have been like, hey, you guys just suck. That shows you where greatness is and where you're at. No, they lost to the Jazz, who are a miserable team. This even throws you now. If you guys have watched Moneyball, Brad Pitt about the Oakland A's, he says, here's like a pile of crap, and then there's us. That's basically what it is. There's the Golden State Warriors. Then way below that, there's a pile of crap. And way below that is the Los Angeles Lakers. That's terrible, especially with Kobe still on the team. The loss was the Lakers' worst in franchise history, of course. Now, they keep continuing to say that multiple sources are saying this and that. Who really knows? But obviously, there is something going on in the locker room that is very negative, very bad happening. This is what the video said. Quote. Actually, let me scroll. Where did it say? Okay. In the video, Russell asked Young at one point, quote, "You was 30 and she was 19?" Referencing Young's age and the age of another woman that Young had said that he had met in a nightclub. Russell later says, "What about Amber Rose?" Young says, "No, she's my girl." Later in the conversation, while continuing to record, Russell was heard yelling to Young, quote, "I'm glad you told my video all that." Then Nick Young says, "Huh?" And then the video cuts off. Yeah. I haven't seen a video. This is only just what I saw on a report. This is bad. Russell was stupid for recording this. And they said it was just a joke and it just went wrong and then it went viral. But you don't do that, man. You don't do that to anybody like that. It's just, if you do it when you're not recording, you're with a bunch of the other players and you're just joking like, hey, you were 30 and she was 19. What are you doing, man? Cool. Whatever. Guys joke around. We all joke around. To get it recorded and to do all that was wrong. It's wrong. It really is. You just don't do that. And that's what he did. And Lakers already are in a huge world of trouble. Their whole franchise, from their management to now their actual team, it's all crumbling apart. And this is not how we wanted to end Kobe Bryant. He's got less than 10 games left, guys. And it's embarrassing that this has to happen. It's already embarrassing that they're 15 and 59 right now is their record, with Kobe Bryant still on the roster. And he's trying to just make some kind of positive out of this. And again, with less than 10 games in the season, this crap has to come out. It's ridiculous. It is. It's disrespectful to Nick Young, of course, and it's disrespectful for Kobe Bryant's last tour, his farewell tour. It's wrong. It's all wrong. And it just sucks that they're already having a crappy season and they got to add more crap to it. It keeps piling down on them, and it sucks. But who knows? Maybe Kobe Bryant say, "Hey, let's make this dream team happen. Let's just LeBron, Kobe, Durant, CP3, and Dwayne Wade, if Dwayne still wants to play, all five. Let's just get it done. Let's go somewhere, some other team, just Orlando Magic. I don't know. Make it happen. Make it happen." Some college basketball news is UNLV is expected to hire Arkansas Little Rock's Chris Beard as their next head coach. This is a very scratch your head kind of call. He was at University of Arkansas in Little Rock for just one season, but he led them to a 30-5 record, a Sun Belt Conference title. They beat Purdue in the first round before falling to Iowa State. Pretty solid Iowa State team too. Now, this was his first Division I coaching job. He was a head coach at Division II schools, Angelo State and McMurray. He also coached South Carolina Warriors, who was an ABA franchise. Now, he was an assistant coach under Bob Knight and Pat Knight at Texas Tech from 2001 to 2011. And he's also part of the staff, Division I programs at Texas and North Texas. So he knows his stuff, dude. I'm not saying that, but I feel like he should have waited for a bigger opportunity than UNLV. Now, UNLV, of course, they've had some past success, historical success, but I feel like he could have made a bigger step. Maybe look for a job that's going to be in the Pac-12 or something. Maybe a bigger job in the Big East. Something a little bit different. I think staying at University of Little Rock, he's going to have more success there because Sunbelt's not all that great at basketball. So he could have stayed there and waited for a bigger deal. That's all I'm trying to get to. But either way, congratulations to him. He was a candidate for potentially for TCU had they not been able to get Jamie Dixon of Pittsburgh. He was one of them out there, and I would have been happy with him because I liked him. He did a great job, and he knows his stuff, and I wish him for the best. Now, if we can get that going, I think it's working. I'm not too sure on my camera right now. It's looking kind of weird. I don't know if it's actually working. Oklahoma Star senior Buddy Field scored 37 points Saturday to lead the Sooners to the Final Four. He's a National Player of the Year favorite, credited his idol, Los Angeles Lakers Kobe Bryant. I saw him and he said, as soon as I saw Kobe there, I knew I had to put on a show. Blame it on Kobe. Now, Hield scored, again, 37 points against Oregon as Oklahoma defeated Oregon 80-68. And Kobe Bryant, he was impressed. Said he was impressed. Hield hit 13 of his 20 shots, including 8 for 13 from the three-point range. And Bryant said, quote, it was a heck of a performance. He's a great player. I love it. I love it. And I hope the Lakers can draft. Do I even want them? Do I even want them to ruin Buddy Hield's career? I don't think I do. I like Buddy Hield, of course. I also like, is his name Ben Ingram? I should have looked it up. The Duke player. I know his last name's Ingram. I don't know if his first name is Ben. I don't know what I'm going for. But Buddy Hield, he's averaging 25.4 points this season. Is projected as a top 10 pick in this year's NBA draft. I hope he falls into the Lakers' hands. It hopes for something better for him. Something better. But we'll just have to see. We'll have to see. Hopefully Buddy Hield. And also North Carolina, they're the only number 1 seed left. And they're opening up as favorites. 4 to 5 favorites. That's their thing. 4 to 5. Followed by Villanova at 11-4, Oklahoma at 4-1, and the long shot Syracuse at 10-1. Watch Syracuse win it all. Wouldn't that be crazy? Now, again, like I said, I need Oklahoma and Syracuse to win in the Final Four. So I can win my bracket against my coworkers. And everybody at my work is like, oh, you do your own show? That's cool, but you don't know nothing about sports. How dare you? Yeah. So I hope this happens so I can be like, ha, where y'all at? Because I'm right here. I'm a winner. Where you at? No, I'm just joking. But, you know, I hope Oklahoma wins. Well, actually, I don't know. I mean, obviously for my bracket, yeah, I want Oklahoma Syracuse to win. But am I going to be mad if North Carolina Villanova win? No, because that's going to be one heck of a matchup. You know, either way, these are going to be fun matchups. We got really great 4 teams left. Do I personally think Syracuse will beat North Carolina? Not really. I don't think so. I don't know. Especially with this much time for North Carolina to look at them and watch more film on them and say, hey, how did they really get here? And Coach Williams, he knows what he's doing. He knows what he's doing. Marcus Page, one of the best players in college basketball as well. I think North Carolina probably wins it. But either way, again, I am happy that we just had a great March Madness and a great bracket. And I hope you had, just like I did, a great show today. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, be sure to hit that like button. Share it on with your friends and family on Facebook, The Short Sports Show. Follow me on Twitter at Short Sports Show. And I will see you guys next Wednesday. As always, God first, God bless. And I will see you guys then. Peace.
Forever. I'ma do this here forever. Forever. I'ma do this here forever. Forever. I'ma do this this here forever. Forever. I'ma do this here forever.
I done came way too far for me to stop it now. I done worked way too hard just to drop it now.